On today's ADG podcast, your one-star rated Apple podcast, we have two special interviews, a top five, a movie trailer review, a new segment, and a new garbage person of the week. Stay tuned.
What's it like in the journalism program? That's why last week he's like, fuck this guy, fuck that guy, fuck this guy. You're cool, but fuck this guy.
Someone, whoever does their Twitter account, was offended by what the ADG podcast had to say on Twitter. All controversial now. Nowhere. You know why? Because they just thought of this shit last week and they put it in a movie. Now,
so I'm not have to worry about catching anything from Jake or vice versa. So he's good.
Catch some manners, Darren.
All your asshole attitude is rubbing off on you. Finally, it only took about 3 years. So hey, I wonder how long that recording session was. Okay, Ben, you ready? Yeah. All right, thank you.
We're done.
It'd be nice. I'm gonna give it a solid 2.5 out of 5.
Oh wow.
Welcome everyone to the ADG podcast. We have a great jam-packed show for you today. We have not one, but two interviews. We have all this year-end goodness for you coming up on the ADG podcast. I'm your host, Darren.
And I'm Jacob. We are not on top of things here. It's the end of the year episode.
It's the end of the year episode.
We're all excited.
We saved all the best for the end of the year episode. We have not one, but two interviews for you today.
We all over each other for fun. Go.
Yeah, it was excellent. It was a good time. So, so we'll definitely play those later. But, Jake, let's start with what we always start with, sports. And, Jake, it's the end of 2020 in a couple of weeks. And you know what I'm thankful for is that we're almost at the end of this long COVID-like painful season that is the NFL and the Detroit Lions, who roll into Ford Field on a hot one-game winning streak after demolishing the Chicago Bears after the Bears went Lion, and even the Lions couldn't mess up another team going Lion on them. Coming away with a win, now they get the joy, an early Christmas present, taking on Aaron Rodgers and those Green Bay Fudge Packers. Yes.
That's coming up. That's going to be interesting. I don't know how you felt about. Did you actually watch the last game? So I know you kind of gave up on the whole thing, like I did.
You know what? I did, but it was only in the way of the Red Zone channel. So I did not devote my time for the entire game. But like when I saw the important events that happened, I was like, okay, all right. So maybe that's what I should do.
Yeah, you saw my fantasy picks that were on the bench get 40 points.
Oh, yes. For all those who don't know, it is fantasy playoff time. And guess who I played in the first round?
This
that
guy
man right there.
You know why? Because I'm number one in my division.
Actually, you're number two there.
I was one.
So in your division, yes. I mean, overall, you're number two.
Oh yeah, overall. Yeah.
I finished third, so I played Jake in the first round. And you know what my glorious dumbass did is left the LA Rams defense on the bench, and they racked up 20 points.
You poor bastard. That's okay. That's fine. That's fine.
So
if it wasn't for anybody and nobody trading with me in this damn league, I would have been number one. And nobody wants to work with you. No, the whole thing of this fantasy league, people are supposed to trade. And nobody wants to trade. Not even a like a rebuttal trade. Oh, you don't like what I'm giving you? Cool. What would you like? I am ready to negotiate.
That's right.
No, I'm winning by smacking everybody upside the face because nobody wants to trade. That's fine. I get things done.
Okay.
I'll smash on you this weekend too, and I'll win this thing.
Okay, you bring it on there, big guy. You bring it on.
Well, as long as Ezekiel Elliott actually runs, we'll be okay.
Hey, you know what? I shouldn't be talking about fantasy running backs. Christian McCaffrey, man, did he screw me over this year? Oh, he's gonna play week 14. No, he's not gonna play. Mother.
Oh,
I swear to God, that guy is the most. From boom to bust year, he went. My God, the injuries were just.
That's like the best running back in the league. But that's not. That's you know what? I think I gave you. You might actually win this. You might not knock me out of the
No,
playoffs because
no.
no, because I changed quarterbacks. I took Patrick Mahomes out.
Oh, you did.
Mhm.
That's
My starting quarterback is
Russell Wilson,
Russell
right?
Wilson. Who's Russell Wilson playing?
I don't know who they're playing.
The
Jets?
Jets.
The guy. Oh, jeez, the goddamn Jets.
Hopefully, my strategy works out
I
here.
hope the Jets win just to screw you over, Jake.
They haven't won this year yet.
Hey, they're due. They're due.
I know.
I'm
I know.
telling
But
you.
if Patrick
Hey,
Mahomes is
Jake,
good for like 22 points every week,
Jake,
so
Jake, the Jets almost won last week. Remember that. They
okay,
almost won. If it
almost.
wasn't for that blown call and they let the guy score in 5 seconds left. Unbelievable. Yes, the Lions are in town to take on the Packers. You know what? It is what it is. Packers are just incredibly hot right now. It's like pick your poison. You have Devontae Adams, Pro Bowler, Aaron Jones in the backfield, Pro Bowler, or even, and that defense is just top notch, top rated defense. So it's going to be a long day for Matthew Stafford in the office come Sunday, which is nice that they're moving this game to a 4:25 kick, which is nice because the Lions don't get too many late afternoon kickoffs at home, so it'd be
Very
nice to
nice. I
see.
won't get to watch it either way. Who cares? Team sucks.
There you go. That's
You got any time. So
anytime. There he is. So Jake, besides the Lions, we have another team that is starting their at least preseason schedule. They started last night,
yes, they did.
taking on the New York Knicks. The Pistons kicked off their preseason. They end up losing to the Knicks, but they are back playing those same Knickerbockers on Sunday. And Jake, your thoughts? I don't know if you've seen any highlights or a little bit
Nope.
about the team now,
No
but
highlights.
from the early on impression, the number 7th overall pick, Killian Hayes, definitely showed a lot of promise, playing some major minutes in his first NBA preseason game, and a lot of positive comments and feedback from head coach Dwayne Casey. So that's something to look forward to, something to build upon. Obviously, this is going to be a painful year for the Pistons, but it's all about building it back up, getting it to that point where they are a contender for the playoffs year after year. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
No, that's true. You know what matters? Preseason, least in major sports. NBA preseason matters the least in major sports.
I know,
because it doesn't matter.
I know,
You have people that you'll never see again on the court, ever in the NBA playing.
At least in this time where there is really no other sports going on besides football, preseason basketball is going to get a lot of looks.
Yes, that's true.
So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. What's going on? Obviously, college football is still potentially going on. Obviously, right now we should be watching the big Michigan versus Ohio State game, but that's not happening due to the pandemic. And a lot of people were upset, especially when the Big Ten decided to change the rules to allow Ohio State to play an extra game to qualify for the Big Ten championship game. Jake, do you like this rule? Do you think that Ohio State deserves to be in the Big Ten championship game?
Oh, hell yeah. No, for sure. Michigan should have played. I don't care how many people they have sick. They should have played. You can't do that to your players that you have on your squad and to other players in the league. You got to let everybody play. There's no facts to back up that you should have not played. So you should have played. I heard the press conference. Wasn't anything interesting. Wasn't a lot of facts. So you should have played the game. You should let Ohio State destroy you by like 50. And then let them get into the championship game. They're going to make the playoff. They're going to beat everybody in the Big Ten. No problem. And then do whatever the playoff. The playoff's so weird right now this year anyway. Might as well let them in. They're basically the best team in the Big Ten. So just let them in. Let them do their thing.
There you go. there's Jake's take on it. Obviously, a lot of people are calling for the head of Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh, and could this be his last hurrah with the team? Obviously, when this season's over, they're gonna have to either pay this man to extend his contract or let him go back to the NFL, where he is rumored to be interested in making a return to the NFL ranks to coach again. And Jake, I guarantee you, there are going to be a lot of options in the NFL when when the regular season comes to a close. A lot of coaches usually get fired the Monday after the final regular season games. So, do you see, like, if you were to give a percentage of Jim Harbaugh going to the NFL after and being a head coach next year, what percentage would you give it?
50%.
Ooh.
Oh no, because look at the situation here in Michigan. You don't know the future of this whole COVID nonsense, and you don't know what's going to happen. He obviously hasn't done much in the time he's been here. It's gone naturally downhill. So the easiest escape, just go to Jacksonville and take a dump there. Put the khakis on and ready to go.
Take a dump there in Jacksonville.
Yeah, but it's Harbaugh. It's just all hype.
So one of the reasons why I asked is, and I was thinking about this the other day, because current interim Detroit Lions head coach Darrell Bevels has a relationship with Robert Saleh and has a relationship with Eric Bieniemy, who is the offensive coordinator in Kansas City. So, Jake, if you were the Lions, or if you were either Bieniemy or Robert Saleh, and one of you got the job as the new Lions head coach, do you keep Bevel on as your OC?
I don't know if he'd be one of their guys. Remember, they want to build around the guys they trust and that run their scheme, right? Now, is Bevel going to run their scheme? I don't know. That's the thing. He might know him. They might have a relationship, but do you keep Bevel just so Stafford, if Stafford's still here, which he shouldn't be, being familiar with everything, or do you start fresh? Clean house, bring all of your own guys. Like, that's what I would do. I would literally fire everybody in this organization and start fresh. But,
just walk in there with a machine gun or a paintball gun and just go Ari Gold all over their asses.
Yep, exactly. See ya.
God.
You know what? Why keep anybody there from any point since it has never worked? Start fresh. Fire everybody.
Exactly.
Everybody.
And they should fire the president, Rod Wood.
Oh, the sooner the better.
Guy, especially if he's weighing in on GM decisions when he doesn't know anything about football. He should stick to marketing and forming relationships with other groups for advertising, all that stuff. Pretty much take care of the business side and let the football people handle the football.
Well, Darren,
yeah.
Did you see the three people they just started to interview for the GM
those
position?
Were internal
preliminary.
They're obviously not going to get the job because they're just doing their. They earned an interview, obviously based on their, they're obviously they're not going to choose one of those, but it's a good experience for them to actually go through that interview process of being a potential NFL GM. So. Yeah, they might not obviously get this job, but maybe somewhere down the line, they might be hired on as a director of player personnel or whatever. So, no, I saw that on social media. I didn't really think anything of that. So, but no, I think I think Sheila is waiting for the regular season to be over or the playoffs to be over before she really goes after the ones that would make the most sense for the Lions.
Now, do you think Rod Wood, when he asks a question and gets a football answer, do you think he just looks like with a blank stare, like, oh, okay, because he has no idea what they're talking about?
Oh, he's talking about the option play. Oh, I know about the option.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your scheme like? How many guys on the field?
Oh, yes. You like to do that 3-4 defense. Oh, yes, I'm a big fan.
That guy's technical.
Yes. You're just throwing out every football cliche you can.
The worst.
That's just bad.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Rod over there is
awful.
Is not a good look for Sheila. Sheila needs more football people around her that actually know the game and know what it's like to build a winning franchise and aren't from New England. You know, there are other winning franchise. Yeah, well, there's no winning franchise here lately. But yeah, it's someone that either from Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, San Francisco, who knows what it's like to rebuild a team and rebuild it the right way. So it's going to be interesting. That I'm telling you, when they make that first decision, that GM, or who knows, maybe they go head coach first and then they fill in the GM.
Ooh,
who knows? Who knows? Maybe they give them the old Bill Belichick, where you're the coach and GM.
Oh no! Unless it's Belichick, I don't want it.
Well, I was gonna say that's pretty tempting for someone. Yeah, you can come in, you can be the head coach. Hey, we'll let you be the GM too. Oh, you'll be like, oh, okay. That's pretty tempting for an NFL franchise to offer something like that.
I guess.
So we'll see what happens. Jake, I know you're. I know we don't talk about soccer that much because there's really no soccer to really talk about these days. But there was a pretty big game that I watched a couple days ago, Juventus versus Barcelona, and I there was always the debate who's better, Ronaldo or Messi, but Ronaldo is just miles and miles ahead of Messi. After seeing him dominate the way he does.
Yeah, it's Messi doesn't appear on the big stage very well.
No.
So that's one thing he's got against him. Ronaldo just plays his game every time. Doesn't matter what game it is. So that's the difference between those two guys.
Yeah.
Ronaldo stays consistent throughout playing internationally or whatever club he's in, and Messi does not. So it's just how it is. Yeah, they're good players, but that's the main difference.
Absolutely. And especially the passing of a legend of the game. Truly one of the greatest players to ever lace him up and play, Diego Maradona. And just seeing his old highlights and how he loaded on that field like he was flying. It was unbelievable. And how he is revered as a god. There's gonna be statues and football stadiums and cathedrals named after him in his home country of Argentina. But just how he dominated the game at a position where most people didn't dominate from that position, midfield, right? He was an amazing scorer, and he played midfield. He wasn't even a striker. So it just boggles my mind how incredible he was.
Yeah, see, he was the thing with him. I don't think he's the greatest player of all time. I don't think that at all. But he's one of the ones that actually got me into the game, and definitely one of the innovators of the game, because of how his style of play was, and scoring ability and all that cool stuff. But it's just his uniqueness and his presence and all that other things made him the person he was. So definitely sad for the soccer community. For sure.
Yeah. So you said that to you he wasn't the greatest on your list. So who is the greatest on Jake's list when it comes to soccer?
Oh, that's a top 5, and that would take a lot of research.
You don't have it already.
But no, because there's a lot of players that play now that would be on that list in the future for sure.
We're talking about all time.
Yeah, even all time. There's a lot of players that still kind of play. Right now that I think that will be on that list of greatest players of all time. Yeah, but like Pele, obviously, is going to be on there. Unfortunately, Cristiano Ronaldo will be on there somewhere. Robert Lewandowski, obviously, is going to be on there. My favorite player. That's breaking scoring records in the Bundesliga. Not easy to do.
Yeah.
Okay, we went off the rails.
He's also Polish.
Went off the rails with the whole soccer thing.
Sorry,
we lost the audience.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. Wake up. Oh, we're back. All right. So
Uh,
yeah, I think that's pretty much covers it for sports right now. Obviously,
mhm,
Sunday is obviously football Sunday, so we'll have a lot more to talk about in our next episode, probably in 2021.
mhm.
We'll catch you up on what the Lions did over the holiday break and who got hired, who else got traded. So stay tuned for that.
Mhm.
So Jake, where are we going now? Because I have
Oh, let's go.
a couple things.
Teal interview.
Oh yes. All right. So folks, if you don't know about Woodward Sports Network, I must say you have to check them out. It's something brand new. It's something that I think the city of Detroit really needs. And I was lucky enough to talk to one of the co-owners and one of the co-hosts of the Woodward Sports Network, Stick. He joined us for an interview. So, Jake, if you could play that right now, take a listen.
Let's get into it.
So join us here on the ADG podcast. We love to create relationships across the border, and a brand new sports network that just started across the border, starting the Woodward Sports Network, is one of the co-founders and one of the co-hosts on their morning show. Stick joins us on the ADG podcast. How are you,
Hey,
Stick? How
I'm
are you?
doing well.
So
How are you today, man?
I'm doing well.
Ah,
So
good.
it's good to finally meet virtually, I guess, in this day and age because of the pandemic and everything. But just to give our audience a quick glance, uh, people that live in the Windsor area, Windsor Detroit area, know Stick from his time on 95.5
Yep.
and on multiple other radio stations. So, Stick, give us a little background on how you got started in the business and what led you to starting this new adventure.
Oh man, both of those are loaded stories, so I'll try to make them through as quick as possible. I went to University of Detroit to study architecture, and just school really wasn't what caught me, So I was kind of just finding my way, and I was working at Oakland Mall in Troy, managing the lids there. And one night I'm driving home and I hear this crazy guy on the radio just saying he needs new interns. He hated his old interns. He wants new people. If you ever thought you could do it, drive on down to the studio and try out. And previous to that, I was a huge Drew and Mike fan, and my dad would drive me to school every day. We'd listen to Drew and Mike, and he'd always like nudge me and be like, "You could do that. You could do that." And it never really made sense. Guy say, "Hey, if you think you can do it, come down." And then I heard my dad's voice. I drove down. Long story short, there were about 30 people there, and I ended up getting the internship and never looked back.
Wow. So something like that, obviously sets you up because it puts you in the right spots to meet the right people and form these great networking connections with people in the industry.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing that everybody should take away working in the industry is make sure you're making contacts because you can take those with you.
Absolutely. So being there, like you said, hosting clubs, you spent some time in Windsor and to our I guess our downtown core, which is just one street in Windsor here.
Olette, baby.
Olette Avenue, that's where it is. So your time, just give us a couple examples of your experiences in Windsor.
Well, my first time I ever started hosting a club was Jokers. I'm on the radio at 93.1 DRQ after I get my internship, and the club owner calls up, and he's like, "Hey, Stick, you coming back?" I'm like, "What do you mean coming back?" He's like, "You were here last Thursday. We gave you the mic, took care of all your drinks." I was like, "No, man, that wasn't me." And this was before social media, so no one could really verify who the hell you were.
Right.
And so I went over that night to hope that guy showed back up, pretending to be me. Obviously, he didn't. But that was my first time hosting a club in Windsor. And then I became very good friends with the Combsas. Obviously, they had Taboo, they had Voodoo, they had Sin, they had all those. And so over the course of probably about 10 to 15 years, there were some weeks for a stretch where I was in Canada 3 nights out of the week, a Wednesday, a Thursday, and a Saturday. And I love Canada. I love the vibe over there. I just feel like as soon as you cross that border, you can kind of let your guard down a little and have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like a little mini vacation for all the Americans, all the Detroiters, I should say, over there.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, it's a rite of passage. Not so much for the kids now, but I grew up when we had brown licenses, and they were, it was pretty easy to get across the border. So
Yeah, yeah, it was a lot easier time back then, for
yeah,
sure.
that tunnel used to be a party in itself.
Oh yes, I've heard some stories. I have some friends that work at the border now, and they've heard stories from back in the day from people that worked, in the tunnel's heyday. And there's some interesting stories that took place over there.
Yeah, let's just say you can't get away with that stuff now. I remember riding in the back of my friend's truck and jumping into another car during a traffic stop in the tunnel, and like now, oh my God, who knows what would happen to you?
They would throw you away and probably lock the door. So there you go.
Yeah. No, but I have nothing but love for Canada, man. I had great times over there.
Good stuff. So let's. I just want to give people Woodward Sports Network. Was this? I know you are one of the co-owners with three other guys.
Correct.
And just tell us, like, whose idea was it to put together this first ever like digital sports network that pretty much is Detroit made, Detroit produced, pretty much the one and only in Detroit right now?
Yeah, it was a combination of efforts. Really, if we want to talk about like who sports, I was the originator. I bought the website. I got all that going, and I started doing like little Facebook lives out of my basement and stuff like that during Lions games and reaction videos, and then it just started to roll from there. And I knew Chad Johnson, the guy that owns all the Lady Janes around the United States. He owns about 120 stores. He had this beautiful studio on Woodward that wasn't being used. And I was just approaching him to really just do my little podcast out of the studio, maybe, a couple times a week, just so this space could get the love it deserves. And so he took my idea, and then he's like, I like that idea, but here's what I want. I don't know if you listen to Grant Cardone or anything like that, but it's 10X everything. And that's what he did. He took my little podcast idea and he 10X'd it into what would it take to give me an entire network? Like, what would that look like? What would you need? Because he knew of my history programming radio stations for iHeartMedia and working for ABC Disney back in the day. And so I guess in his head, he had this planned for a while. He just had nobody approach him to start it, and he didn't know what to do. I just was lucky enough and dumb enough to think that he would bite on my idea, and he did. And then he made it better.
So you had his support, and then tell me, where does Adam and Joey come into the mix?
So Adam comes in the mix. Adam's probably one of the most brilliant people I've ever met in my life. So I was working I was running a radio station in Grand Rapids, and I got let go from iHeart. And so for about 2 years, I came back to Detroit, and I was just kind of feeling out where I was going to go. Was I going to go try to chase the dream for radio around the country? What do I want to do? Luckily, I'm pretty well known in the community here, so I just did marketing for some local companies. One of them is the Carpet Guys. That was probably the biggest client that I had. And Adam was one of the graphic designers for this marketing company that I worked for. And Adam, shortly after I started, he got a great job offer in Europe. He makes web apps for Arabic books. So kind of like a Kindle for Arabic books. And he got a job. He went over to Europe for about 3 months and did his thing over there, and then came back here. And he really didn't know what he wanted to do. So he started his own marketing company, and he was just trying to feel his way out. Well, when I bought the website, Adam was the first guy I called, and he's like, I've always wanted to do sports. I love sports. Let me build your website for you. And literally, I bought the website July 31st, August 1st. Adam had an entire website built, and we started putting content out. So that's where Adam comes in. He always wanted to be a part of this, and Joey and I, we just have a brotherhood of a relationship. I used to work for Channel 955 in Detroit, and I was the promotions director for Channel 955 and Mix 92.3, our urban adult contemporary station here. And during that time, obviously, I oversaw the promotions department. Well, Joey was working for Amp Radio at that time. I don't know if you remember 98.7 Amp Radio, but they're like 2 stations removed now. That's flipped a couple times. But Joey was working over there, and I'd watch Joey at events. He'd post something on his Instagram, he'd get like 300 likes. Amp would post something on their Instagram and get 3 likes. And I'm like, this guy's doing more for them than they're doing for him. We need to get him on our team. So I reached out to him, and he wanted to come work for 955 because he had originally interned with Mojo, but after his internship was up, they let him go. So we started working at 955. I ended up becoming the assistant program director and night show host there, and then Joey was my sidekick, or co-host. I really don't like the term sidekick. He was my co-host for the night show on Channel 955 for about 3 years.
Wow. So it's pretty much, it's a close-knit group from between all 4 of you, which is great. And that comes across, especially in your morning show, that you guys, it's just one big family.
That's what I want out of this. Like when I started at 93.1 DRQ, it was a party, man. Like there were guys making, margaritas in the lobby with a tiki bar, and it was just fun. There was just so much fun, and that's what sold me on radio and sold me on making that my life. But along the course, because I started in radio in 2001, along the course of these last 19 to 20 years, radio has just lost its soul almost. Like the fun is gone. And so I wanted to start something that made me feel like I did when I first started. And that's what we're doing right now. Everybody, this isn't ego driven. There's no one day part that's bigger than the other. Like we're all equals, and we're all here to have fun. And Joik Bell's a prime example of that. We got him on afternoons 11 to 1 p.m. with Sean Belesian. And Joik hangs out in the studio with us afterward. And him and Joey had a 40-yard dash the other day right on Woodward. And that's fun.
That's kind of stuff that you can never do now in radio or any professional office, where you can actually have a foot race with a former pro athlete. That kind of stuff just doesn't happen.
No, and I literally feel like I'm living in a Sports Center commercial now. Like I'm eating lunch, George Bell walked by. We had I'm sure you saw it today. Darren McCarty was on the Belesian and Bell show. So I'm just sitting here hanging out. Darren McCarty comes out. We start watching his fight with Claude Lemieux because one of our young interns had never seen it. And I'm watching Darren McCarty beat the hell out of Claude Lemieux with Darren McCarty. It was the coolest sports experience ever.
That just sounds like, do you ever have those moments where you just got to pinch yourself? Like, is this real life that's happening right now?
I can't tell you how many times Adam and I look at each other and go, what is going on right now? Like, how is this all happening? Because it's all snowballing, and the timing just seems to be perfect on everything.
Right. Another thing is that you guys just don't do sports, especially on your morning show. You guys talk about sports, but you're also very involved in the community. If it's like stuff in the studio that you're doing, or bringing on someone from the local dog shelter and getting the word out on those people that do great work in the community.
Yeah, that's something I've always found in my radio career, that if you take care of your community, they're going to take care of you too. So, I don't want it to seem like, the only reason we're doing it is to get listeners and stuff. But no, this is what you do when you have a platform. You do good things, and good things come back to you. It's really that simple. And I don't know how stuff a studio that we're doing. We're going to be living in this studio for 5 days starting on Monday, collecting toys for the Mott's Children's Hospital and a couple other local charities. I started this promotion when I was in Grand Rapids. It was called Stuff a Bus. We were living on a bus, and we did it 2 years. But the year after I left Grand Rapids, they stopped doing it. And because there's not a lot of money attached, we're not asking sponsors to give us $5,000. We're asking sponsors to donate $5,000 in toys. So when you're a big conglomerate like an iHeartRadio, the bottom line is the only thing that matters to you. But when you're us, helping the community is the only thing that matters to us.
Absolutely. It's important to give back as much as you receive. That's without a doubt when it comes to that. Stick, for those of you who don't know, their morning show, The Morning Wood, is from Monday to Friday from 8 to 10, and then Belesian and Bell from 11 to 1.
we were lucky to have Sean Blegian a couple of times on our podcast. He is
Awesome.
a great guy, very knowledgeable, knows everything that there is about sports. Having him and Joy Bell, so they have the sports commentator that's been in radio his whole life, and the former NFL Lion and former NFL athlete. Like, that is the best of both worlds.
Yeah, no, and honestly, their chemistry is crazy. Like, they just finished their 5th show together, and it keeps getting better and better and better and better. And Joik is starting to open up more and more and more, which is amazing to see. But Sean used to call Joik's football games when Joik was the running back at Wayne State. So they have had a rapport for almost 10 to 15 years, and putting those two in the studio together has just been amazing to watch their brand grow together. And you're right, our morning show is by design not a strict sports stats morning show. We'll touch on the big topics, the big things in sports, cover the important things to our listeners, but also personal is what always wins. You got to be personal. People got to think and know that they're your friend and know things about you that you only tell your best friend. So that's why you may learn things about me you never wanted to know, or learn things about Christy that you never wanted to know. But you know it now. And, my old boss at iHeart, who I love, his name's Tony, he used to always say that to me. He's like, your best friend's your best friend because you know everything about them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we want to be. We want to be your best friend when you get in your car or when you wake up in the morning and throw us on your TV from YouTube Live or, whatever it is. We want you to trust us and know who we are, not just, hey, the stats from last night, Ben Roethlisberger threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Anybody can deliver that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what really makes you guys different from the traditional AM and FM radio stations. Well, the very lacking in sports these days, because all the sports stations that used to be on the AM dial are pretty much gone away these days. So it is a nice alternative where you guys aren't handcuffed, I should say, by corporates that only care about the bottom line. You guys really speak your mind and tell it like it is.
Yeah, we're not handcuffed by anything. Like, we don't have the FCC breathing down our throat about what we can say on the air. Right now we're not affiliated with any teams. Obviously, we want good relationships with them, but they don't have a say on what we can or cannot talk about. And honestly, it's dangerous at sometimes because, you got to kind of self-edit just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right.
And at first, I think we were all getting used to swearing all the time. But now if you watch the show the first day, we're all just swearing because we could. Now if you watch it, we'll throw in the swear words when it's appropriate,
Yes, exactly. It's easy to swear when you really don't have stats or facts to back up what you're saying,
Right. Yep.
So basically, a lot of people give the impression that, Woodward Sports is trying to be like Barstool, and I try to tell people, no, I think they're just creating their own little niche market. They don't want to be like Barstool, but they do. You guys take a little bit of their formula into your network. Is that right?
Yeah, I would say so, but I don't know about their formula because they don't really have any live shows. Most of their live shows are pre-recorded, then played back, quote unquote, live. What we do love about Barstool Sports is the fun they brought into sports.
Mm-hmm.
That's, if anything that we're mocking off them is fun. We want to have fun. And I feel like a lot of our local terrestrial radio here is just not fun. It's angry, sad, it's, depressing. And so, yeah, I've heard a couple people try to compare us to Barstool. I like to think we're in the middle. We're not the hardcore sports, but we're not, playing Jenga. We're kind of right in the middle where we are lifestyle and we're fun, but you can trust us for our sports commentary too.
Absolutely. That's very well said. So, Stick, right now we're into the final month of the year, coming into 2021. Obviously, this pandemic has put a hampering on all sports, pretty much in general. When sports is finally back, and when we can go to a game in person and not wear a mask and all that stuff, Where do you see Woodward Sports Network, going in 2021?
I mean, as soon as the world opens up, that's when this thing's really going to take off. Our strength is meeting people, talking to them, shaking hands, kissing babies, and getting the word out. Like that, Joey has made a career off of that. Myself, I feel I excel in front of people. Chrissy is kind of the same way. And honestly, we're working out partnerships with the big pro teams to where we'll host the post game and the pregame from their concourse and stream it live on our page, or eventually work out a partnership to where we'll be their streaming broadcaster. That's some conversations that we've been having. I'm not going to get into specifics about who, when, what, why, but where I see us going in 2021 is getting ourselves more entrenched with the professional teams in the area and building that relationship. So it validates us as a legitimate sports entity, but it also will provide them with the energy that I think all of our franchises are looking for. You go to a Red Wings game at LCA, it's not packed. You go to a Pistons game, LCA, not packed. Tigers game, not packed. Lions games are packed, but it's, the vibe isn't always positive. And that's what we want to bring. We want to make this stuff cool again. Like, we want to make it like 2004 Pistons, where you went to the Palace and it was a club night.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's great. I love it because I think that's what sports in Detroit has been missing for the last decade. It's safe to say, is the fun factor. It's not fun anymore. You go to, like you said, you go to a Lions game. Yeah, it's packed, but everyone's just sad and it's pitiful that people are paying money to see this team lose every week.
Well, yeah, and then you drive around and listen after the game, like, you hear people, if they win, people are upset. If they lose, people are upset. And it's like, well, then what are you doing here? You're not a fan. If they can't win and you're happy, then they lose and you're unhappy, like, you're really doing yourself a disservice by calling yourself a sports fan. Like, fan is short for fanatic. If the Lions win any game, I'm excited that they won the game because I went through 0-16. I don't want to do it again.
I what I say to those people, you should be so grateful that you live in a town, a city that has 4 professional sports franchises and 2 pretty top end college sports franchises. There's people in Iowa that have nothing.
Yeah, no, I don't know. You took the words right out of my mouth. Like the other day on our morning show, I said that because my dad's from New Mexico, and he grew up, and he would have to drive 12 hours to see a professional game. I drive 12 minutes down Woodward, and I get all 4 sports. And Detroit is the only city in America with all 4 sports downtown.
So there you go. We're definitely one of the lucky ones, and we're lucky that we're just a drive over the bridge or in the tunnel to see it. So there you go.
Yeah. No, you guys got it good. Not only do you have the Spits over there kicking ass in hockey, but you get to root for the Red Wings when they're good, and then if you don't want to root for the Red Wings, you can always defer to the Maple Leafs.
That's a sore spot for me. I'm a diehard Leafs fan, and it was just torture seeing the Wings win year after year. That was just painful to watch. From my point of view. But no, hey, I respect good teams. I respect great franchises, and if a team makes the playoffs 25 straight years in a row, you got to tip your hat to that.
Yeah, yep, and I love it, man. I love every bit about it. I grew up a sports fan. I grew up a Detroit fan. When I was young, they were called the Dead Wings because nobody liked them, and then I saw them peak for 25 years, and now they're back to what they are now. But there's hope for the future with all 4 sports franchises, which is what I really like.
Right. No, absolutely. Also, just one more quick thing before I let you go. You guys have other podcasts, not just sports live shows. You guys have our network of podcasts. Just tell me some of your podcasts that you have on your network.
Yeah. So, and just to kind of go over kind of the formula of what we're doing is our live shows are like the bricks of the building, and our podcasts are the mortar that kind of holds everything together, and it's all under one big umbrella. So what we found is guys need podcast in my basement, but I can only take it so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we wanted to do is create a whole network to where it's trusted podcasts with great content that we've already, like we've listened to all the podcasts and we're trying to pull from the best in the city. So right now we have Origins, which is a great podcast. If you like the being and sounding smart when you're talking about sports, Origins is for you. This guy, Ben, he dives so deep into like the beginning of the instant replay, the beginning of sports video games. And every time I listen to one of his podcasts, I learn something that I talk to people, and it makes me sound very smart. Like, the sports video games started with the U.S. Department of Defense trying to come up with things that entertain their guests. And I learned that from his podcast. So I love that podcast. We have the Michigan Canacast, which is all things marijuana in Michigan because it's legal here. It's rec legal in Canada too, right?
Across Canada, yeah, you can smoke whatever you want all across Canada. I think we were one of the first real big nations to do that. So yeah, definitely a big industry, especially in Leamington. I don't know if you ever look across the river at Detroit, if you see like an orange glow, yeah, that's all. That's the lights from the pot houses in Leamington where they grow it. Yeah.
That's amazing, and good for Canada. So that we have the Michigan Canacast, which they're educate, advocate, and inspire. So it's not just two potheads sitting on a couch talking about weed. It's they talk about the legalities of it, how to grow, for everything from the lights to the nutrients. So I love that podcast. Art Smith is one of our hosts, and he does the Art of Combat, which is our MMA podcast. And he just started this thing like 2 months ago, but the amount of interviews he's getting with quality MMA fighters is absolutely insane. And I only see that growing bigger and bigger and bigger till we're at Fight Island sometime, kicking it. Like that's what I'm looking forward to with the MMA podcast. Art also does the Art of Gaming, which is our esports podcast, which is something we're going to focus on because just like everything's going digital, we see esports being next up.
No, without a doubt.
Yeah, and then we have Everything Is with Corey and Ant. Corey is a young man that we have on the staff here, and we kind of want to just give everybody an outlet. And one of the major things we want to do is make sure that we're servicing the urban community in Detroit because there is no voice for them. So that's where Everything Is comes in. It's kind of just two dudes kicking it, talking about what affects, the urban community in sports.
Good. No, absolutely. No, that's a great lineup. And that's a good foundation, like you said, to build upon. Obviously, you guys want to expand out more, try to get as much content as possible for your network.
Right. Yep. No, that's the thing. We want to, and we don't want to leave any sport left uncovered. Like I've been talking to this hippie dude who wants to do a sport on like hippie sports, like axe throwing and disc golf and all that kind of fun stuff. And it's like, yeah, like that. Yeah, nobody's talking to those people. So why wouldn't we do that?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great. Obviously. So Stick, for those people who don't know, where can they listen to the Morning Wood and Belegian and Bell? Give us all the shout out. What do we have to follow for all our listeners?
All right. Well, we live stream every morning on Facebook and YouTube, and once we get some more power behind our internet here, because that seems to be the blockage from letting us go on multiple streaming platforms. So we're live on Facebook and YouTube every morning, 8 to 10, and then 11 to 1. And then all the podcasts, you can hear them on Apple, Spotify, and pretty much SoundCloud. Everywhere you find podcasts, we send it out. And all you got to do is search Woodward Sports or Woodward Sports Network, and our whole lineup will show up for you.
Awesome. Well, Stick, I really appreciate all your time. Make sure you check out the Woodward Sports Network. Listen to the Morning Wood. It's a great show. It's a lot of fun, happy people talking sports and just having a really good time. Thanks a lot, Stick. I really appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, for sure, man. And once the world opens up, come across the border and we'll hang out and have a beer and talk some sports.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
All right, Jake. So let's get into it. Top 5 time. It's
I'm excited
time.
to do it.
All right. So I'm going to keep it sports themed. I'm going to keep it Detroit Lions themed.
Oh,
and Jake,
damn.
I know you're going to love
turning
this
off
one.
my mic.
There we go. Here are the top 5 players you forgot that played for the Detroit Lions.
I wish I forgot I would forget the current players that play for the Detroit Lions.
Well, let's see how you good. So let's start in at number 5, and it's field goal kicker David Akers.
David Akers, yes.
David Akers. Akers is the 15th leading scorer in the NFL history, having racked up over 1,700 points in his career. However, though, that's when he was with the Philadelphia Eagles. Akers played for them from 1999 to 2010. However, after 2 seasons with San Francisco 49ers, the Lions signed Akers to kick for them in 2013 in his age 39th season. Akers was voted team captain, converted about almost 80% of his field goal attempts, doing so for the Lions that went 7-9 back in 2013. So there you go, David Akers. If you forgot, he played. There you go. Let's see if you know this one. This one is interesting. Coming in at number 4, Michigan native Larry Foote agreed to a 1-year deal that joined the Lions ahead of the 2009 season, hoping to help dig the team out of its worst season in NFL history. Most known for his time with the Steelers, Foote had 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, and 99 total tackles for the Lions in 2009. So there you go, Larry Foote, coming in at number 4.
Not very
number
productive.
3, not very productive. Number 3, I can't believe I'm saying this name, but I remember this. Dante Culpepper.
Yes.
Comes in.
There
you go. Culpepper retired in September of 2008, and frankly, it would have probably been better if he just stayed retired. Instead, the Lions lured him out of retirement by offering him a 2-year deal that he agreed to in November 2008. Culpepper would start 5 games for the team in 2008. Of course, going 0-5 during that team, they didn't win a single game.
Yeah, he's trash.
He's absolutely trash. So Dante Culpepper in 2008, everyone remembers that season, was not good. Coming in at number 2, I don't know if you're going to remember this one, Jake. Running back, Rudy Johnson. Rudy Johnson. Mostly remembered for his 7 seasons with the Cincinnati Bengals. Johnson's final NFL campaign came as a member of the 2008 Lions. And, well, nothing about the 2008 Lions was uneventful. Johnson was cut by the Bengals late in the preseason, eventually landed with the Lions, and at the expense of Tatum Bell, though Bell would ultimately call the situation a misunderstanding. Johnson accused him of stealing his bags. It's the whole what to do. Yeah, that pretty much sums up the 2008 Detroit Lions. It's just a mess on and off the field. And coming in at number 1, Jake. You want to guess who's number 1?
No, I want to be surprised. Go for it.
All right, number 1 is quarterback Jeff Garcia.
Yes. I remember Jeff Garcia. Yes. Yeah. This list consists of garbage.
Oh, man.
Garbage players.
So much garbage.
Total winning record of this top 5 list, 1-20.
Yeah.
As Detroit Lions or something like that. It's
exactly.
Great.
So Garcia started 5 games for the Lions in 2005. Playing musical chairs with former number 3 overall pick Joey Harrington in the 5 games. In the 5 games that Garcia started, the Lions went 1-4.
Boom.
And he tossed just awful. He was just god awful. I'm sorry, he tossed just 3 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Lucky for him, he landed with Andy Reid in Philadelphia in the next season and got a chance to lead the Eagles to the playoffs after Donovan McNabb suffered a season-ending injury. So, typical Lions. You suck here, and then you go somewhere else, and you go play in the playoffs.
That's right.
So
that's how either you retire here or you move on and do better things.
Exactly. So there's your top 5.
Party time. That was good. Awesome. So let's get into our movie trailer review because you sent me this movie trailer earlier today, and it was really fun to watch. The only problem I have is these movie trailers are like mini movies in themselves. Like I don't want to see this much in a movie trailer, but the upside on like last week's episode, the upside on this movie trailer was actually good. Yeah, tell us about it, Darren.
Oh yeah, so it's called Nobody, featuring the great work of Breaking Bad star and Better Call Saul star Bob Odenkirk, and it's from the producers and directors, I believe, of John Wick.
Yep.
And pretty much along the lines of the John Wick, you know, this trilogy, I guess now, it's very violent and very entertaining, I'd say. It looks really good. It's released to come out February 26th, 2021, here in Canada. So it looks really good. So basically, the plot of the movie is a bystander who intervenes to help a woman being harassed by a group of men becomes the target of a drug lord.
I like that. That's a good summary. I would watch it just on that basis, but you're gonna want to watch it after you watch the trailer because it's jam packed. It starts off nice and slow, builds up, and there's a bunch of shooting everywhere. But it looks like a cool story. Looks like it's really nicely put together. A lot of the cast is newer.
Yeah. He tries to be like, he comes across as like this very quiet, very meek family man, and he doesn't want to cause any trouble, but his family doesn't know that he was like a hired gun by some secret service, and he has an artillery of pretty much every weapon you can think of. So it's definitely going to be
it's a shoot 'em up movie.
You definitely don't want to piss off this guy.
Yeah,
it looks pretty awesome, especially the one scene in the trailer where he's on the bus, and he just wants people to leave him alone, and these guys start harassing him, and then he just empty out all the bullets in his gun, and he starts just beating the fuck out of everyone.
That's a good scene when he just drops the bullets out of the gun. It's like,
nice. So this one, I give it a solid 4 out of 5. I would definitely check this out.
I agree with you, definitely. Exact same thing, 4 out of 5 for me too. Actually, it would be one of those nice movies to just watch a bunch of shooting happen. Get action, things blowing up, lots of fighting. Yeah, it's one of those movies just to break up all that other cool stuff that we're going to talk about later today that we will be watching. Exactly. But yeah, no, it looks good. 4 out of 5. I'm excited. Movie trailer for Nobody. Go check it out. Awesome. So Darren, I got a new segment for us.
Okay.
Everybody does a lot of online shopping, right? Especially now with all the lockdowns, and since we're in gray lockdown now, so we're actually locked down, which means you still go to work, but you can't go anywhere else. Everybody's online buying things. I don't know about you, but I find some weird shit when you go online and buy stuff. And everybody goes on Amazon and Wish, and we know Wish is like the discount Amazon, and there's another place online where you buy stuff. It's Alibaba. It's AliExpress, and it's another similar place to Wish where you get a bunch of knockoff shit and some cheap shit, and it just all looks weird. Well, here's my new segment: things I find on AliExpress. That's my new segment. I want to give you 3 things that I found on this site that might interest you.
Okay.
And you tell me if you would be interested. Number 1, for $802 Canadian. Okay. And you're going to get this. You're going to get 12% discount right now, and they're going to ship it to you pretty quickly to Canada. It's a gasoline engine. You can actually get it looks like a 4-banger Chinese gasoline engine. Yeah. Would you want an engine off of a website?
Well, if it works, sure.
That it's pretty suspect, but it's all in Chinese, so I can't read it. But anyway, you get a little engine there. If your car breaks or something, order it online. In 30 days, you'll have it.
There you go.
Yeah. I have something else for you. This might interest you, actually.
All right.
Whitening body shower gel. Volcanic mud shower gels, whole body fast whitening body wash remove gel, whitening cleaning gel is the actual description.
So
So
that's.
what it does is it whitens your skin
Oh my goodness.
for $6.73, which is a 15% discount, and it's getting more stars than we are actually. And so in reviews,
Wow.
so you can get this. It's at a 4.3. We're at like 3.7 on it on Apple. You guys got to get this thing up. Yeah, it's a whitening gel for your skin.
Well, for those of you who want to get their skin their whitest, I guess it's perfect.
Yeah, your hands are a little too dark and messy. Whitening up. I don't
Why
know.
not?
I saved the best for last though, because this is something you might need.
Oh boy.
Okay, so for $1.43 Canadian, which is a 38% discount, on AliExpress.com, you can find a chicken helmet cap, protective gear for the sun, the rain. It's a protection helmet for your chicken.
You know who?
Which is a pet supply and a costume accessory. So if you have friends that have chickens in their house, you want to get them something cool for Christmas.
I
$1.43.
actually do have a friend. I do have a friend who is raising chickens for eggs, and he has about 30 some odd chickens. I bet you he'd be definitely interested in that.
There you go. $1.43. You just found him some new gifts, Darren. Come on, $1.43.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, some chicken helmets in
exactly.
case you run into each other.
Hey, you know the chickens aren't the brightest in the.
No, they're pecking all over the place. Yeah,
exactly.
Get a helmet.
Safety first.
There's cool designs too. Yeah, exactly. There's like animal designs, animal on animal designs. It's weird, but yeah, there's helmets for your chickens. Those are my 3 things you'd find on AliExpress.com.
There you go.
There's a new segment.
I should be like, oh, we'd like to thank our sponsor, AliExpress. Oh.
No. Damn. You get a shipment of like chicken helmets. It's weird. But anyway, let's move along here to our latest interview.
So here to talk to us on the ADG podcast about everything nerd related, Disney related, Star Wars related, Marvel related, anything pop culture nerd wise. Jen, the Star Wars nerd, joins us on the ADG podcast. Jen, how are you?
Oh yeah. Well, my head almost exploded the other day, but I'm hanging in there. So much news.
Mm-hmm. So for those of you who don't know, I get all my nerd information from Jen when it comes to Star Wars and all the things pretty much Disney, because Disney pretty much owns everything nowadays. They made a huge announcement the other day on all these new projects that are going to be premiering either in 2021, 2022, and so on. Just give us a brief little rundown on some of the shows that we can expect to see on Disney Plus, and what are your favorite shows that you're looking forward to coming?
It was hard. Like, as I'm following, it was Investors Day, and that's why all of these new series came out, not just Star Wars and Marvel, but also just new Disney movies and other new Disney series. But it was hard to keep up just one after the other. There are actually 10 new Star Wars projects. And I guess the ones that I'm really looking forward to the most are the ones that kind of tie into what's happening right now with The Mandalorian. So the 2 that they announced, which will also be directed by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, that is the Ahsoka series and Rangers of the New Republic. And Rosario Dawson will be playing Ahsoka, obviously, and she did, spoiler alert, she did an amazing job on Mandalorian season 2.
Sorry, Jake.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all good.
But just blew my mind. And so these 2 series will actually tie in with The Mandalorian, and it'll be like a big kind of crossover between the 3. So those are coming. They also announced the next Star Wars full-length feature movie, which will be out in theaters December 2023. So we have to wait like 3 years for it.
Wow. Well,
Yeah,
that's a
but
good thing that they're giving us all these shows in the meantime.
yeah, I think they're going to try to tie a lot of this stuff all in together.
Mm.
So the new movie is called Rogue Squadron, and it's actually going to be directed by Patty Jenkins, who just did the two Wonder Woman movies. So that's pretty exciting to look forward to.
And she will be the first female director of the Star Wars movies, is correct?
I'm trying to think here because I know that for a Star Wars movie, yes. For the series, they have had female.
Yeah, so I'm talking about like in the movie division. She'll be the first female.
Yeah, I think she did pretty good with the Wonder Woman movies. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. But again, 3 years down the road. But so lots to hold us over in the meantime.
Exactly. The other big thing that's going to be announced, I believe it's going to be come out either in 2022. There's going to be an Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Is this correct?
That was huge. Well, we already knew about that,
right.
But we didn't know that deal about that. So that's kind of awesome. That's going to take place obviously after the prequel and just kind of show Obi-Wan's life as he goes into seclusion and is kind of looking over Luke as he grows up.
Wow. So there you go. So Hayden Christensen makes his return to the Star Wars universe, which it's always interesting to see, like, people, that you remember from all those films, either the prequels or the original trilogies, and what happened to those people after, the movie ended. And we see we get a lot of answers from The Mandalorian, because it takes place after Return of the Jedi. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see. So we'll keep it Star Wars based for now. Out of all the Star Wars announcements that were made, what are you looking most forward to, Jen?
Absolutely Ahsoka. I think, she was a character that didn't really get, she was in the animated series for anyone that watched the Clone Wars. They did a great job, but I really wanted to see what happened to her because it kind of ended on a note where you're like, did she live? Where is she? And I like that they're bringing her into all of that and giving her more of a backstory because she was such a badass character. And to see her like live, and Rosario Dawson did such an amazing job. Like I was really hoping that this would come out of her Mandalorian appearance. So.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. Switching over to Marvel. Marvel just announced a whole whack of either a series and movies coming in the near future. Just give us some of a rundown of what Marvel has in store for us on Disney Plus.
Marvel has a ton too. I couldn't believe how many. Again, they were just one after the other. Some we already knew about. So there are 11 new movies and 11 new shows. The first being actually, the first is coming out in January, which again we already knew about. WandaVision, that's premiering January 15th. And it's actually supposed to tie in with one of the new movies that will be coming out in the next few years, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So it kind of explores the multiverse and like alternate scenarios, and it looks interesting. It was I wasn't sure about it when I first saw some trailers, but I'm pretty intrigued by that. And then Falcon and Winter Soldier we also knew about, but now we know that it's coming March 2021. The other big announcement was the Loki series, and that will be coming in May 2021 as well. So these are all with the original cast, and they're basically like films, but a TV series. Like they put a lot into the production of these.
Right. Yeah.
And movie-wise, though, the big announcement, which I was super excited about, was that they are redoing Fantastic Four and tying it into the MCU.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, that's about time. That's great.
The first two adaptations sucked so much that I'm hoping it's like Spider-Man. Like I feel like they finally got Spider-Man right. So I think that they'll finally perfect Fantastic Four. So that was pretty exciting as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk I see on Twitter. The new Spider-Man movie that's coming out is supposed to have some of the old people that were in the Spider-Man franchises from before going to be in this new movie. Is this any truth to this rumor, or is this all just
I
hearsay?
have heard this. I've heard this rumor as well. I think it's true. I think the two other Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield
Yeah.
are going to be returning. I'm not sure if it's just kind of like a cameo, like a wink and a nod to what's been done before, but I'm kind of over them, so I'm hoping that that it's just a quick kind of a funny thing. But yeah, that's another obviously film to look forward to.
That would be nice if it was a multiverse jump between all those characters. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That would be pretty sweet. To tie those in. But I also heard a rumor that they're going to tie in some other Marvel characters from some of the HBO shows, like Daredevil and things like that.
Yes, Daredevil was supposed to tie in with She-Hulk, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's exciting as well. Daredevil, again, I wouldn't mind if they tied him in properly to the MCU. I'm okay with the do-overs. I'm okay with them trying to get everything right and get everything together and all the crossovers. I don't know how they do it. It's a lot of material, but everything they've done so far has been amazing. So the next few years, definitely Disney is getting all of my money.
Well, you said earlier that for those of you who don't know, that here in Canada, Disney Plus is going to be increased by $3 a month now to kind of pull in a little bit more from their, I don't know how much they charge nowadays, but like it's $3 more, but you look at all the content you're getting, it's just ridiculous.
Absolutely. And because of COVID-19, they'll also be releasing full-length features that would have normally gone to the theater, will be direct to Disney Plus. So that's kind of offsetting some of the cost. And I mean, like, I'm here for all of it. $3 extra a month. I mean, Disney Plus is on every day at my house in some way, shape, or form. So it's worth it. I mean, they have to kind of recoup costs somehow, but not like Disney should really be hurting for money at this point.
Nah, at this point they pretty much print their own money when it comes to it.
Yep.
So aside from the Marvel and the Star Wars universe on Disney Plus, there's been other shows that they announced that me as a Disney fan is kind of intrigued on how they're going to put their spin on it. There's talks that Zac Efron's going to start in a revamped version of Three Men and a Baby, and they're going to and there's going to be a new Mighty Ducks series called Game Changers, Mighty Ducks Game Changers.
That's what I'm excited about right there.
Starring Emilio Estevez.
Yeah.
Mighty Ducks, man, I swear to God. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So no, I did see the trailer for the new Mighty Ducks. Kind of looks a little bit too Disney, but it's kind of like, okay, it is what it is. But it's great to see those legendary movies getting revamped on this new streaming platform.
I'm excited. I'm excited for the different like little series that they have. They announced like it's Marvel as well, but the Groot.
Oh, did we lose Jen?
Princess and the Frog.
Yeah.
Oh, no, she's there. Okay. I'm sorry, Jen. You just cut out there earlier. Just repeat what you said. Yeah, we lost you at Groot.
Oh. So the Groot series will be coming out, Groot animated series, but also some of the Disney princesses will be getting their own series as well, like Tiana from The Princess and the Frog. I know.
Dreams fulfilled right there for Darren. He gets the background on every single princess. Very nice.
As a girl from the 80s, I am very excited for some of these princess re-releases. So, it'll be a lot to watch, and I mean, not like people are really going anywhere at this point, so we have time.
No. Exactly. Watch as much content as you can. Exactly. Just jumping from Disney to, I want to get your thoughts on this, Jen. HBO Max kind of like shook up the whole movie industry by releasing in theaters and on HBO Max, their streaming platform, all of Warner Brothers 2021 movie releases for the entire year. And some people are not happy with it, aka Christopher Nolan. I don't know if you saw his comments. He was very upset by that decision. Do you think that is the right movie? That is the right move for studios to do this year? Because we don't know how long this pandemic is going to last.
I saw AMC put out a statement as well, and they were pissed.
Yeah.
It's a tough call. As a nerd, I love going to the movies. Aside from the movie popcorn, which is the best, it's just the experience. And there's some like movies, especially Marvel, Star Wars, those big movies, you want to see them on the big screen to get the full experience. They did what they had to do to make money. I get it. I don't agree with it. For someone who like currently is not really going out, it's nice for me to be able to see these movies, and I'll pay the extra money to see them in my home right now as a temporary solution, but I'm afraid it will just open the door to that just happening all the time, even once the pandemic is over. So that's what worries me. The death of theater, and I really was a bit concerned when I saw that.
Yeah, no, and there's a lot of different things to look. Well, that is one side, but it really kicks off on Christmas Day when Warner Brothers and HBO Max is going to be releasing the new Wonder Woman movie, Wonder Woman 1984, on Christmas Day. It'll be on HBO Max. Obviously, here in Canada, we don't have HBO Max, but I believe it might be on Crave. So,
yes,
those of you who have Crave, there you go. So that's something to look forward to.
Disney's doing that as well. I mean, Disney did that earlier this year with Mulan. They are also doing it with the new Pixar movie Soul, which will be out on Christmas Day as well. Like I said, it's a good temporary fix. I hope it doesn't continue, because the experience of going to the movies is just something like I hope my children get to continue to do as they get older.
Absolutely. I remember, like, you wait, you get your ticket, weeks ahead of the time, and then you just have something to look forward to that whole way, and experiencing a movie that is so huge and monumental and, like, I wouldn't say life-changing, but, life-changing when it comes to entertainment-wise. Yeah, it's something about being in that audience and hearing all their reactions. It's different than watching it by yourself in your home.
Oh, for sure. And I remember, like, I camped out for the Star Wars prequel trilogies, which in retrospect, not worth it. But I did that, and it was such an experience. And there were people, lightsaber battles, and everyone dressed up, and it was so much fun. And I think that's next year. Time will tell, but a lot of things might change, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Jake, do you have anything left to add?
Oh, I don't know. I'm overloaded on all this information. I have to literally schedule every single show on my calendar.
Exactly.
And I'm just gonna stop going to work because was that 45 shows that I have to catch up on now?
Wow.
Come on, you guys are killing me here. I don't have time for all that.
But
definitely
you
have
need
to
to make time,
right?
Yeah, that's the beauty of Disney Plus. You can watch it when you want to watch it.
Oh yeah, and the best part, most of that I like the whole approach of where it all ties in together, and that kind of makes the experience so much better. And we, who knows how long we get to stay home and do all this crap. So it's going to keep us entertained for a very long time.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. No, I totally agree with Jake there. And I like how they space it out where, when one series ends, it's like you gotta wait a week or so, and a new series will begin.
Good. So people like me can catch up on
it. Exactly. There's never a lull between series on Disney Plus. So there you go. For all your Star Wars, Marvel, and entertainment needs, Jen, the Star Wars nerd. Thanks again for joining us on the ADG podcast.
Yes.
Oh, thanks for having me.
All right, Darren. Since it is the season giving.
It is the season of the giving.
That was my best Barack Obama. Okay. I gotta be
Some
nice.
people have to know the season of giving. That's what they do. That's how you do it.
Track for you.
Yeah,
I got some music.
Yeah.
So coming out actually this week officially is a track, and we like to go international. You know, have music from all over the worldwide. Energy podcast worldwide. Worldwide. Here we go. So we got some music for the Christmas season, all the way down from Cape Town, South Africa.
Beautiful.
Yes, yeah, we have to venture out of our own comfort zone and get some interesting music, because what we have today is a song called Christmas in Cape Town, and it's by the New Apostolic Church Young People's Choir, but also features a lot of their big artists like Edith, Dalen, Sass, Chesman writers, and God Knows, which is some of the big artists that I have solos in this choir. So it's really a really cool different track for the season, and I figured we get all festive, but we'll do something out of out of the box, something different for our end of the year show. So we're all the way down to South Africa, and we'll play this track. So here is Christmas in Cape Town by the New Apostolic Church Young People's Choir.
We may have no pale blue mountains all covered up with snow. We may have no boughs of holly on the doors, no mistletoe, no reindeer, no sleigh bells that tinkle in the night, or Yule logs for the burning in the cold of winter's night.
If you take a walk through Cape Town or on the Grand Parade,
Take a look at Table Mountain. See the table has been laid.
in the night there is music
And friends that you will meet.
and lights shining brightly all the way down Adelaide Street.
This is Christmas in Cape Town. There's happiness and joy, and smiles upon the faces of every girl and boy. The sun is shining brightly on the mountains and the sea. It's Christmas in Cape Town, a special place for me.
And in many homes in Cape Town, amidst the summer fun, some are offering thanks and praises to the Father and the Son, with carols and singing around the Christmas tree. A season of forgiving and of goodwill and of peace.
When it's Christmas in Cape Town, there's
there you go. Hope you guys are now in the Christmassy mood with Christmas in Cape Town. Hope you guys enjoyed that track. It officially comes out on the 19th, all over the place, but we have the track before everybody else. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
There you go. I'm just sorry to chime in. There's breaking news here, Detroit Lions wise here, Jake.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited.
Breaking news that cornerback, former third overall pick Jeff Okudah, is to go undergo surgery, and he's out for the remainder of the Lions' 2020 season.
Do they have surgeries for skill? No? Talent?
I guess not. Yeah.
No?
So there you go.
What? Surgery for what? Sucking?
I think he did have a lot of hamstring issues.
Yeah. Shit issues.
You
ruined my mood. We're talking about Christmas, and you're like,
the
worst player in the draft that we could ever pick.
Sorry.
It still sucks.
Go. He will undergo groin surgery.
Oh, okay.
So he is Jeff Okudah, done for the year.
Awful. Keep him off the field. We got a better chance of winning when he's not playing.
Probably.
No,
So
it
there you
is.
go.
It is. That's actually very true. You guys can find that. He
He
doesn't
did beat
play.
the Bears. He did beat the Bears. So let's not
The
get too
worst
crazy.
corner in the league by a lot.
He's a rookie. He's a rookie.
trash.
Let's,
No, he's trash.
give him-
No.
Okay.
How's Tua doing?
Anyways.
Exactly.
All right. Let's not get into this. Continue on with your rants there, Jake.
You got it, because today we don't have a rant. We got a garbage person of the week.
Oh, garbage person.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
Oh,
Jeff
oh.
Okudah.
No, he was the garbage draft of the year.
Garbage draft pick of the year. Yeah.
That's right. New segment. Good idea there.
Yeah.
So I think I finish off the year with a story that we can summarize the year with, because for our last episode of the year, the garbage person of the week obviously has to be special, and it doesn't get any more special than this dude. And his name hasn't been released yet, but there's a coach of the Savannah Gators football team, U9, so 9 and younger. And this team was playing an American Youth Football National Championship down in Florida. So, the big garbage person there, because coach decided to, when his player came off the field, to punch him, a 9-year-old child. First time he pushed him, and then as the kid got up, he walked back to the kid and punched him. So this coach, who has been, I think, suspended now, and this is all caught on video. It's been all over the internet this week, the interwebs. I'm sure that can't be the first time he's done this. And looking at this video, I was like, where the parents aren't pressing charges, by the way. And looking at this video, and if any parent that I know would be out of their seat, literally Supermaning down the stairs and jumping at this guy, if anybody hit my kid like that. So watching this thing, I'm like, really? So did some more research. Yeah, this guy, Savannah, Georgia Gators, actual football team. And this was caught on many angles by a lot of people. Little adult punching a child at a football game. Really? Now, what could have this kid done on the field that little bit of yelling wouldn't have done? Because trust me, yes, I'm all for the aggressive type of coaching, 100%. I've coached forever, and yes, I will yell at children. They need discipline. Yelling is part of it, but don't get all physical with them. That's the opposite of what you should be doing. Opposite. Give them shit. Sit them down on the bench. You're not hitting or punching or pushing anybody on any field. You just can't do that. That doesn't send the right message. These are 9-year-olds. What are you sending with this kid that comes out the field and you hit him in the face? That's not what you should be doing, and it's not. Think of the kid's head, what he's thinking. You got to think of it that way. So much garbage person of the week is this coach, which we still don't know the name of, which when we do, we will deal with online, is garbage person of the week, and probably the garbage person of the year, if we really think about it. So there you go, Darren.
There you go. a lot of things to keep in mind. Do not lose your head when you're coaching youth sports. You know, Jake says it's best. You know, he's had many years coaching, you know, youth soccer, you know,
Youths.
and you two youths. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Almost 2
My-
decades.
There you go. So yeah, it's just, you know, you should have known that if it was from Florida, you know, it's gonna be something messed up. And I was right.
Yeah, that's true. But for today's show, find us everywhere. ADG Podcast, all social media, all streaming networks. I hope you guys enjoyed today's guests. Find them on their social media and check out what they do. A lot of cool stuff there. We want to thank everybody that's come on the show. Darren, good job on the interview.
Thank you. Same with you.
And you know, just follow the show. This is it for 2020, and hopefully when we come back in the new year, we'll have some interesting things to talk about. So maybe some different news, interviews, and other things. But till then, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, ADG Podcast, any streaming platform. Add us to your favorites. Something to get you through the day. Play in the background. We're perfect for that, and some interesting interviews. And today's show is huge. It's going to be almost 2 hours. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Any feedback, let us know, adgpodcast@gmail.com. And yeah, you tag us, follow us, share, whatever. Keep engaged, and we'll keep bringing you some interesting content and a lot of Detroit Lions hate. That's what we do.
There you go. Yes. So once again, from the ADG Podcast family to yours, have a great Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, and anything that you're celebrating between now and the start of the 2021 year. All the best.
That's right. Stay safe, and thanks for listening to the ADG Podcast here in 2020. We'll see you next year, and I'm Jacob.
And I'm Darren.
And we are ADG.